Okay, and we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. Yeah, the internet was out this weekend, but it is good to be back. It is also good to actually be able to live like a real human being, which is great. But we're gonna begin the stream in about 3 minutes here. I'm gonna start the countdown again. If you're watching on the replay, feel free to skip ahead. If not, also for those of you guys who are watching, make sure to leave a like on the stream right now before we begin. But yeah, see you guys in about 3 minutes here, folks. So true. I'm telling you, vince-DAO nationalism, literally the future of the Republican Party. You cannot stop it. Yo, look, I'm the baby now.
This monument will never be desecrated. These heroes will never be defaced. From this day forward, a new vision will govern our land. From this day forward, it's going to be only America first. America first.
John, thoughts on vince-DAO nationalism?
Oh, I mean, I've been campaigning that for the better part of 3 years now. Before I even knew Vince, it actually appeared to me in a dream, and I just sort of been trying to subtly, when they say John Doyle dog whistles, he does, but not in the way they think. It's always about vince-DAO nationalism. They sound like a white nationalist. No, I'm a vince-DAO man.
Americanism, not globalism, will be our credo as long as we are led by politicians who will not put America first. Then we can be assured that other nations will not treat America with respect, the respect that we deserve. The American people will come first once again.
Millions of Americans sincerely love Donald Trump. They love Donald Trump because no one else loved them. The country they built, the country their ancestors fought for over hundreds of years, has left them to die in their unfashionable little towns, mocked and despised by the sneering half-wits with finance degrees but no actual skills who seem to run everything all of a sudden.
Okay, and we are live, ladies and gentlemen. And like I said at the beginning of the stream, we are back. Okay, Friday we were supposed to do a stream. My internet went out for the whole weekend. It was pretty bad. I actually left town. I was like, I just can't deal with this because the cellular reception doesn't work here either. It's like, if you don't have internet, you're basically screwed here. So we are back, though, ladies and gentlemen. We love to see it. We love to see it. Okay, now whoever took out my internet, I don't know. Was it the 821 cockroach? Was it Joe Biden? Was it John Doyle? who the freak knows? But whoever took out my internet, you're just not cool for it, okay? But we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We got a super chat right off the gate. Noah Boyd sends me $2 and says, "Let's go." Thank you very much. So you guys read the title. The topic of tonight's stream, the focus of tonight's stream is a certain individual by the name of Dan Crenshaw. Okay, and I suppose there are really two reasons we had to do this stream. You know, I like seriously, this is something that I'm kind of looking forward to actually talking about. So I think obviously there is like the professional reason of simply the fact that Dan Crenshaw is someone who really summarizes the point I've been trying to really hammer home time and time again throughout this Afghanistan stuff, which is, yeah, you could, there are definitely criticisms to be made of the withdrawal, right? And I think the blood of the 12 soldiers that were died ultimately was on the hands of incompetent government, and I'm not incompetent government, incompetent leadership, and I'm not denying any of that, but beware of the fact that many neocons who ultimately, as we always say, if they had it their way, they would be in Afghanistan for another 20 years. They would never withdraw from basically any war ever, and they would continue this agenda of nation building around the world, will try to insert themselves into the conversation, right? A bunch of people who are for endless war, do not share the Donald Trump stance on foreign policy, share the George Bush, stance on the issue, are going to basically put their talking points into the mainstream, and a lot of people are going to buy it because of the fact that they are not attacking Trump, they are attacking Biden. So you will see these people on Fox News, and they're going to go on and say, Joe Biden is so stupid, why did he do this? And a bunch of boomers are going to be like, yes, you're so right. Yeah, you get him, Dan Crenshaw. You go after Biden. In reality, you read into what these people are saying, and of course, what they are pushing for is not, handle the withdrawal better. What they're pushing for is no withdrawal whatsoever. So that's the professional reason. We're definitely going to talk about that on this stream. And I got another super chat from Shane. Shane says, the Klasick Owens feud is another bit of this. They're wasting money, resources, and energy by bickering. Divides our front. The far right is useful. No, this is true to an extent. I guess Dan is not really the biggest cash cow when it comes to our side, but he definitely is. He definitely is someone who, he's kind of, he actually reminds me a lot of someone like John Bolton in like a different way. This guy, he gets basically canceled by the base for being weak, for betraying Trump, whatever. But this guy, you notice, always finds his way to really just make his way back into the conversation. It just happens so often. So, Dan's kind of canceled post January, all that stuff. And now he is all over Fox again. Now he is, retaking the platform, retaking the conversation. But anyways, that's the professional reason. We're going to talk about the foreign policy. We're going to talk about the fact that, Dan is one of these actors, essentially a neocon regaining popularity simply because Biden did bad or whatever. And, we're going to talk about that. But to be completely honest, the main reason I wanted to do this stream is that for me, it is honestly now personal at this point with this guy. And we're gonna discuss that. I'm gonna show you basically this is no longer a disagreement over foreign policy. This guy is making it openly apparent that he hates people like us. He hates people who are the real supporters of Donald Trump. He hates actual conservatives, and quite frankly, he looks down on us with contempt. Okay, and that's what we're going to demonstrate. That's what we're going to talk about. That's really what we're going to open the stream with, because quite frankly, this behavior, okay, this is no longer a disagreement over foreign policy. This behavior just outright pissed me off, and I think is just outright unacceptable. And we're gonna show you really what we're talking about. So we have, hold on. Let me find it. It was on Cernovich's Twitter. Let's see if we can locate it here. Let me see. It was probably somewhere around like 24 hours ago. But essentially, we will. I will show you what I am talking about. Okay. Now this ultimately, like, this is basically just an outright insult of the base. Okay. And like, again, at this point, in the way this guy's behaving and the way this guy's talking to us, not talking to other politicians or anything like that, talking directly to us, talking directly to Trump supporters, directly conservatives, is just outright unacceptable. And we're gonna show you if we can find it. I don't even remember exactly what day this occurred on, but it is on my Twitter, so we could always pull it up that way. As a matter of fact, maybe that's what we'll do. I will pull it up on my own end. Here it is, right here. So we have this now. I'm sure you may, if you don't remember who Ian Smith is, okay, and this really shows you divide. This really shows you the reason why I'm actually like just at this point basically borderline angry with him. And I know his stance on foreign policy. I've known that. I expected him to be against all Afghan withdrawal, but this is different, and quite frankly, this like honestly has nothing to do with it. So I'm sure you guys all remember Ian Smith. Ian Smith is the gym owner in New Jersey who refused to shut down his gym. Okay. Ian Smith has faced many, because of the restrictions. Ian Smith has faced many consequences for doing so. Ian Smith has faced fines. If I recall, he actually has been arrested like at least once for refusing to shut down his gym, but he continues to keep on going. And, he really was, in my opinion, a pretty good role model throughout this pandemic of, peacefully what sort of civil disobedience, and I don't even know if I should say that on YouTube, but what sort of civil disobedience against what is ultimately, to be frank, actual tyranny, right? I know it's kind of overused a lot by conservatives. Oh, tyranny this, tyranny that. But to be honest, Ian Smith is a guy who actually stood up against tyranny because, in my opinion, the right to work, the right to attain the dignity of work, the right to open your own business and chase your American dream. I mean, that's something I think that is fundamental. And when you actually have, and this is not even to make a libertarian talking point, when you actually have government coming in and telling you, no, you can't do that. We're going to keep you locked inside your house and you are not allowed to open your business. That is something that I like outright, I think, define as tyranny. But I'm sure you guys remember this. Now, Ian Smith is someone who is a Trump supporter. Ian Smith is someone who is a patriot, and Ian Smith is someone who actually risked a lot. I mean, I'm sure he actually gets more business because of it, but he is someone who risked a lot financially, professionally, all this stuff to really take a stand for a principle that ultimately was good. Let's see how Dan Crenshaw, check out how Dan Crenshaw responds to this guy, okay? So we have some from Mike Cernovich. Based gym owner Ian Smith responds to Dan Crenshaw, who called Smith a LARPer. Now, I can't find I'm going to try to find the original tweet in a second, so that way we can actually look at the Instagram post itself. But let me try to zoom in here as much as possible so we can see it. And actually, as a matter of fact, this makes me respect Ian Smith more because Ian Smith posts on Instagram basically a reiteration of the same stuff we've been saying. Okay, so Ian Smith Fitness on Instagram: reckless Joe Biden pullout, open power vacuum, surrender entire country of weapons. Sloppy evacuation. Then there's a terrorist attack at the airport. And then, of course, exactly like we've been saying, I didn't even know much about Ian Smith's politics. I assumed, he's just a Trump supporter, a conservative. But this guy gets it. Okay, this guy gets it. This guy is saying exactly what we've been saying. Okay, so we love Ian Smith. We respect him even more. He says, media brings on neocons and rhinos like Dan Crenshaw to talk strategy, 30K unvetted refugees, start new war at home or abroad, see how it works. And it's so true. It's so true. But, so Ian Smith posts this on Instagram. Now, let's keep in mind that Ian Smith is someone who we kind of know his name because he's been on Tucker a few times, stuff like that. But this is a guy who's a private citizen. Okay, this is a private citizen, a small business owner. He has some social media presence, but this is not I don't even think he's verified, right? This is not someone who's like a journalist, a pundit, another politician. But that doesn't matter. Check out what Dan Crenshaw spends the time to comment on Ian Smith's Instagram post. This is a politician. This is a politician just degrading and attacking like some random business owner essentially on the internet. Okay, and let me ask, is that appropriate behavior for a politician? Well, let's read this in a second. Dan Crenshaw responds. This is again Ian Smith, a patriot. He responds, wannabe tough guys that never did anything but talk shit and LARP as a patriot. That's what I see here. Adorable, really, but also kind of sad. Can you can you believe that? Okay, who says that? That's what I want to know. What kind of politician talks to voters like this? What kind of politician talks to ordinary Americans? And be it that, ordinary Americans that are of the same political party. What kind of politician speaks like this? How is this acceptable conduct by any politician, even someone like Donald Trump, who historically, has been seen as someone who's very brash, he's very open. Trump never spoke directly to voters like this, right? To ordinary business owning Americans like this, right? He attacked pundits, he attacked journalists, he attacked other politicians, people like this, but that's all fair game, right? Those are people within, I guess, the sphere of influence. Here you have a guy attacking was quite frankly politically involved, yes, but ultimately some random business owner on the internet. And keep in mind, even further, what really angered me about this, again, the fact that this guy's a patriot, again, the fact that this guy has risked a lot to actually stand up against real tyranny, gets labeled by Dan Crenshaw, again, base Dan Crenshaw, the guy you're seeing on Fox News and all this stuff, as someone who, and I quote, a wannabe tough guy who never did anything but talk shit and LARP as a patriot. LARPing as a patriot. Is that what Ian Smith is? He's LARPing as a patriot? Well, let's continue on what Crenshaw has been saying here, and I'll tell you ultimately what I think of it. So Cernovich says, base gym owner Ian Smith responds to Dan Crenshaw, who called Smith a LARPer. Okay, and we have Crenshaw again. I and this is the thing too. Dan is supposed to be someone who supposedly, and this is kind of the reason why, they say he at least he pretends he's not as close to Trump. He's not as like super, MAGA aligned and stuff like that, right? Supposedly, right? You see a guy like Dan. This is like kind of a suburban style Republican, a guy who's not very close to Trump. You would presume one of the things that kind of the reasons he's anti-Trump is like, oh, Trump is too brash or whatever. And here he is, cussing out ordinary Americans like this on the internet and just talking a whole load of shit in a place that ultimately doesn't really, concern him. I mean, seriously, how often do you see people like politicians talk like this? But again, Trump is so bad. This is the same guy who went on Joe Rogan's podcast and called right-wing populism toxic, quote unquote. One of the reasons being, this sort of Trumpian Twitter war. And here he is getting into something that I would argue is even worse. So then again, he says, based how exactly? Because he talks shit and acts tough. Wow. Impressive resume. Don't fall for these charlatans. All right. So, yeah, let's talk about this. Let's honestly talk about this. Okay, so what you're seeing essentially nowadays, Dan Crenshaw has become, he's more bold now. Okay, you see him, he's cussing more, he's getting into it with people on the internet, and ultimately, the reason why, and this is really kind of what you'll see from him is because, well, what's going on in Afghanistan right now is a disgrace to our soldiers and this and that. And I'm a veteran, right? I'm a veteran and it's a time of crisis. So essentially that's what you're going to get from Dan Crenshaw. Okay. You're going to get this whole, he's a veteran line, and they're going to do the same thing they did for John McCain, which is essentially because this guy is a veteran, he gets to treat us however he wants. He gets to talk to us however he wants. And he gets to get away with all of it because don't you respect his service, bro? Don't you respect the troops, bro? Okay. And that's what you're going to get from Dan Crenshaw. It's just disastrous. But let me check the chat real quick. I think we got super chats. Shane says, Dan Crenshaw has no self-awareness whatsoever. It's not a good look to attack small business owners. Well, again, that's what you get from Dan Crenshaw, okay? Dan Crenshaw is a guy who, I mean, ultimately, he thinks he's better than everyone. I mean, that's what it really is. This is kind of the mentality you'll get from Dan, And listen, I'm a conservative, right? So I actually am not necessarily inherently anti-elite. So I'm not going to say that just because he went to Harvard or, he's kind of this person, whatever, that inherently makes him a bad person. I don't think that's the case. I think, if we really want to reclaim the country properly, what we need is actually people who are willing to become elites themselves and use their power for good. But what you see from Crenshaw is, and that's someone who I think Donald Trump kind of was, right? Donald Trump was a guy who clearly was an elite himself, went to Wharton, he's a billionaire, this and that, but he's actually someone who cared about the American people, cared about, the little guys like us, right? What you get from Dan is essentially the opposite of that. What you get from Dan is utter contempt for us. He thinks us, the right-wing populist, the Trump base. You can see by the way he's speaking to us. He thinks we're stupid. He thinks we're LARPers who talk shit and act tough. And it's just so true. But I'm gonna be honest. I'll go right in on Dan, okay? Because quite frankly, this is not just an attack on Ian Smith or the person I'll show you in the next thread. This is what he's really going after is kind of the hardcore Trump base entirely. And you can see what he thinks of us. And it's like, yeah, we're not going to be able to stop this guy from being propped up on Fox News, sure, but this is a message, okay? And honestly, I think most boomers get it, but there's still kind of this sizable minority that don't. That this guy is not on your side. This guy doesn't like you, and this is not a guy that you should be supporting or even remotely praising simply because he went on Fox News and said Joe Biden bad, right? We ought to demand more from that. We ought to demand better, and I think at the very least, perhaps we ought to demand people who don't outright have contempt for us, outright dislike us, outright look down on us, and outright hate us, right? And that's what you get from Dan Crenshaw. But like I said, in this, I'm going to ultimately respond to Dan because I quite frankly thinks he deserves it. So, this is the Crenshaw line, and this is essentially what he's saying. Well, you're a fake patriot. You're just LARPing as a patriot. You're not a real patriot. I'm the real patriot. I was a Navy SEAL, bro. I fought in Afghanistan, bro. I served in the military. So who are you to say who's a real patriot? I'm the real patriot. You never did anything. Did you serve in the military? Are you a Navy SEAL? Did you get wounded? Did you get a Purple Heart? Right. That's the whole line we're getting from Dan. And look, I know that what I'm about to say is going to be misperceived. I'm going to be accused of hating the troops, being anti-soldiers or whatever. None of that's true, okay? But let's actually be honest, Dan, about the situation, okay? And the first fact is, number one, just because you are a veteran, just because you were a Navy SEAL veteran, so you were an elite soldier, and just because you got wounded, doesn't mean you essentially have the right to earn our unending respect no matter what you do and no matter what you say to us. Okay, I think that's number one. I think there's no need to go. This is the same argument as John McCain. It's like, yeah, you have bad politics and you're treating us like crap. But we inherently have to just say, sir, yes, sir, because you're a veteran. Like that's first of all not how it works. But let's do an honest assessment. And this is the part that I'm about to say that's probably going to get a little bit spicy and might be a little bit controversial and a little bit out there, but I'm going to go here, okay, and say this. And this is not, let me be clear, this is not something that I want to do. This is not something that I really want to go out here and say, because it is something I think is divisive. It is something that what I'm about to say, I feel like is a little bit ugly, and but it nonetheless doesn't mean it's not true, which is the fact that, you have Dan out here who says, as you can see, he says, want to be tough guys that never did anything, right? See, I did something. I fought in Afghanistan, bro. You're LARPing as a patriot. I actually did something. I fought in the Middle East for your freedoms. And it is true that Dan Crenshaw did do a lot, right? I'm not denying that, And then let me again say, this is not like supposed to be a knock on our soldiers or anything like that. Like, I respect our soldiers. I don't respect the people who run the top of the military, but I do respect most of our soldiers, right? But if we're to honestly say who actually did things as a patriot and who didn't, then we ought to be really serious and honest about what our soldiers have actually been doing in the Middle East for the past 30 years, okay? And compare that to what Ian Smith has been doing. And so that's to say, what has Dan Crenshaw actually done for us? Right. And don't get me wrong. I think that most people who go into the military, and I would argue probably Dan Crenshaw included at the time, genuinely do enter service because they want to protect us, right? They want to serve us. They want to serve the American people. They want to protect American freedom, this and that. But the reality of the situation is that is simply not the reality of what's actually going on when it comes to, U.S. foreign policy. And so that's to say, what has Dan Crenshaw actually done for the American people? Okay. Yes, Dan Crenshaw did a lot in practice. Okay. And I don't care what his intent was. In practice, yes, he's done a lot to serve the American regime, a lot to serve the military industrial complex. But are we really to say that all these wars in the Middle East, which Dan Crenshaw, fought in, which Dan Crenshaw is supposedly a supporter of, and Christopher, we got Christopher sending in another $50, man. This guy, Christopher, is like my super chat. Christopher right here is our super donor. He's a mega donor right here. This is a super PAC. Okay, we got a super PAC right here, and it's the Christopher Graves super PAC. But no, seriously, he says, "Cheers, bro. Just stopping by momentarily. I'll watch the replay." Thank you very much, Christopher. Christian Lee says Dan Crenshaw is basically PC principal with a Nick Fury eye patch. That's a decent comparison. I'm not gonna lie. That's not a bad comparison. But anyways, back to what we were talking about here. Um, that's the thing. And I would make the argument, and we've talked about this a little bit on the channel, that, in reality, our U.S. foreign policy, the wars that Dan Crenshaw, was fought in and stuff like that over the past 30 years have number one, they've not benefited the American people. And more importantly, they have not actually made the American people safer. Okay. I think in many ways, and not just in terms of tax dollars, which obviously is a part of it, but in actual ways that I think like we've talked about, the bombing, I think the invasion, the unnecessary in many cases, like obviously as a follow-up to 9/11, Afghanistan was, necessary to an extent, but but you go back further before 9/11, all this. So you look at the true timeline. It's actually the case that unnecessary involvement in the Middle East has actually made our country less safer. It has actually made us, the country we live in, more dangerous. And it is a big reason that many of the attacks that we see, and 9/11 included, have actually been incited against us. It is a byproduct. It is a result. Not to say that it's the fault of the American people, because obviously it's not. But it is important to point out that these things have been in domino effects, results of these foreign wars that are not making us safer. And that's to say, look, again, I'm not knocking the soldiers who fought in these wars, and many of them who are patriots at heart and actually fought war, went to these wars with the intent, with it in their heart that they wanted to defend us. But if you want to talk, if Dan Crenshaw wants to go here, if Dan Crenshaw wants to go out here and say, well, you ain't do nothing, right? You tough guys talk shit, don't actually do nothing. It is just simply the reality that Dan Crenshaw, as a soldier himself who has served the military industrial complex, served the American regime, quite frankly, really didn't do that much to keep us safe. I mean, what did he actually do in practice, in reality, right? And you might say, well, because I'm pretty sure he did fight in Afghanistan. Okay, well, at least Afghanistan was kind of seen as most Americans as being the good war. But, it's also important to point out, this is not a guy who entered the service right after 9/11. I think, when did he serve? Like 2008 through 2011, like something like that. This is a guy who came in the later stage of the Afghan war, when the attention really shifted to nation building. I mean, that's really the time period that Dan Crenshaw actually served in Afghanistan. So, if you really want to compare resumes here, what has Dan actually done in practice for us, right? Not for the regime, but for us. The answer is very little. Meanwhile, you compare that to a guy like Ian Smith, and a guy who, we as we said before, is a patriot. Okay, this is a guy who actually stood up for, I think, stood up in actually a meaningful way to what, again, I defined, like, not hyperbolically, not to overuse the term, but as actual tyranny, right? The closing down and the lockdowns and the denial of the right to work, the right to achieve the dignity of work, the right to open your own business. Like, that is something I think is outright tyranny. It's like an outright direct violation of human rights, natural rights, whatever you want to name it. I think that's something that, we can all agree on, sort of, in that sense, right? And so here's a guy who actually stood up against that and actually risked life and limb to show that, like, we will not basically have this basic right to work violated. And this is a guy who actually he didn't just help himself, right? Thousands, whatever, of patrons, of people who likewise wanted the ability to, go to the gym and kind of live normal life. All these people were ultimately aided by, Ian Smith. And also consider the fact that Ian Smith is a guy, who, because he kind of became this public figure or whatever, that's also a guy who really, I would argue, probably inspired a lot of business owners across the country. Who knows how many? I think a whole lot when we really think about it, break it down, because this guy was on Tucker, this guy was all over the place. How many small business owners do you think he personally impacted who were kind of scared? They were questioning whether or not to really open their business. And, they see this guy, Ian Smith, on TV, and he's cool. He's a Chad with like an epic beard, and he's a patriot, this and that. And ultimately decided, you know what, I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna, like, stick up against actual tyranny. Okay, I would argue, bold statement, but let me just say that if you want to talk about who's actually did anything, okay, I don't care that you're like a Navy SEAL or whatever. If you want to talk about who actually has done more for the American people, not for the regime, but for the American people, the answer is undeniably Ian Smith. And if we are also to judge the heart combined with what they've actually, I think, done for us, the American people, the result becomes obviously clear that a guy like Ian Smith is 100 times, 1,000 times more of a patriot than someone like Dan Crenshaw ever will be. And that's just the reality. Okay. I'm willing to come out and say that Ian Smith is a far bigger patriot in intent and in practice than Dan Crenshaw. Okay. And but Dan Crenshaw was a soldier, bro. Like, okay. So, I respect that to an extent, but when we're talking about something like this, when Dan Crenshaw wants to come out and say, you're not doing anything, you're just LARPing, bro. I think there's a case to be made that in many ways, modern military service basically is a LARP in a sense. And again, this is not to disrespect people who do it or have chosen to do it. I think many of them have good intents. But again, what is modern military service if not a LARP, right? Because basically we have people who enlist in the military thinking essentially that they're gonna go fight for freedom. It's gonna they're gonna liberate Fortress Europe. It's gonna be like World War II style, and it's like we're out here fighting for the flag, fighting for freedom, But in a sense, and in like a really strong sense, I would argue that is the LARP. That is a total LARP, because what you're actually serving, and I wish this were not the case, right? I think it is unfortunate that this is the case. And I wish, the military as an institution was something we could actually be proud of. But what you are serving at its core is not freedom, is not, the American flag, the American people, right? What you're serving at your core, if you join the military today, is the woke generals, right? It is the military industrial complex. It is the American regime. It is the globalist American empire. Like, that is ultimately who you are serving in reality. And so and again, I hate to go here. Like, I don't want to go here and just disparage, our military, disparage soldiers, which I don't think I'm really doing. But if we are to be honest about who is LARPing and who actually is doing more to actually spread our freedoms and actually do good for our country, it's pretty clear, Dan, and it's pretty clear in general that people like Ian Smith, who actually stand up to domestic tyranny, are actually far more impactful than people who join the U.S. military, who ultimately, the military as an institution, I would argue, really acts more against our interests as the American people than it does for it. So, it's the case. Okay. It's true. All right. So, if Dan really wants to go here, I think that's something that frankly needs to be said. And this is what I said on Twitter. After that, I said, for the record, Ian Smith is 100 times more of a patriot than Dan Crenshaw will ever be. I said what I said, which is true. And we kind of explained why that is. And I said, I respect our troops, but seriously, don't use but my veteran, excuse. Oh, he's a veteran, so he gets to say whatever he wants. Yeah, that's not how it works. And listen, that's not how it worked for you with John McCain or Tammy Duckworth or any of these people. So don't give me it with Crenshaw, because, his disability is more outwardly showing. It's like, listen, he's a politician, and he's out here basically disparaging people like us, disrespecting people like us. I think we have the right to say back, no, you're not, I don't think we are obligated to really show respect back to people who clearly don't respect us. And like I said, Ian, standing up to real tyranny, did way more to fight for our freedom, right? Not the American regime, but actually for our freedom, far more than 20 plus years of corporate wars that, again, like I said earlier, actually make us less safe. Okay. And if Dan wants to say that Ian, quote, never actually did anything, let's actually assess what Dan did for the American people. Our foreign policy, and like I said, this is why I'm not trying to take it out on the soldiers. Our foreign policy wasn't his fault, but it's simply true that our endless wars didn't do anything to help our country. Not sorry. And it's true. It's just so true. And then, you just take a look at this guy. Take a look at what this guy further says, and this is a person who's even smaller, I think, than Ian Smith. I mean, this is just a random person essentially in a comment section. And I'm not sure. Let's see. I'm not sure if it's the guy or the girl in this picture, but either way, both of those look. Both of those people look so happy. I don't know if they're married or not, but they look like they look like a happy couple. I would hope a happy family. And this is I am really tugging at your heartstrings here, because who it is people like this that Dan Crenshaw doesn't like. It is people like this that Dan Crenshaw ultimately is trying to disparage. Ordinary Americans, small business owners who are supporters of Trump, and they're not fully on board with this whole pseudo-intellectual neoconservative American empire nonsense that I don't know where Crenshaw learned at Harvard or whatever. But he or she says, I'm not sure which person, but They say, I used to be really impressed with you, Dan. You had so much promise, but you've become the establishment. I wish any politician could gain power and not become a puppet for the deep state, just one. Again, a random person in the comment section. Okay, what does Dan do? What does Dan do? Oh, let's get an internet war with random voters. Lol, the establishment? What the hell are you even talking about? Do you have any clue? Yeah, because you're stupid, bro. You're stupid. What are you talking about, dude? First of all, you don't even have the right to speak because you're not a Navy SEAL, bro. And then secondly, I went to Harvard. Okay, you don't look like you went to Harvard to me. Okay, so do you know what you're talking about? Do you even have any clue what you're talking about? You schizo Alex Jones conspiracy theorist. Could this guy honestly be any more condescending to people like us? What the hell again, let me reiterate, what the hell kind of politician behaves like this? You know, it's one thing to attack other politicians, pundits, or whatever. What the hell kind of politician goes on Twitter and just disparages ordinary Americans who, you know, genuinely, actually, as you can see, used to support him but are unhappy with him? Who the hell talks like this, you know? Even Joe Biden in town halls in 2019, 2020 era, you know, I would argue not even as bad as this. Like, let me guess. I'm secretly a member of the deep state, and my 100% conservative voting record is just a ploy to trick you. Yeah, your 100% conservative voting record. I don't know exactly what he's voted on, but let's just assess the things that he's openly supported in the past. Yeah, your 100% conservative voting record that is in favor of red flag laws, free trade, and continued wars in the Middle East. That's Dan Crenshaw's 100% conservative voting record. Yeah, give me a break. But again, seriously, what elected official, what politician actually speaks to voters like this? It is honestly disgraceful. Okay. But anyways, my mouth is getting really dry. I need to get a bottle of water, so I'll be right back here. But let me respond to a few chats here. Someone sent Vince a super chat to join the Mark Kirk cult. The Mark Kirk people, they're very, very interesting community. I'm very actually confused as to why exactly it arose in the first place, but it is a very odd phenomenon. Okay, I will say that. But anyways, Vince, stop drinking plastic. We don't really have a choice right now. Okay, I'm not trying to spend a lot of time filling up the freaking Brita or whatever. Okay, but let's see. So Jeff Davis says senior year starts tomorrow. Imagine still being in high school, Jeff. Imagine still being a high schooler, class of 2021 nationalism. Okay, we are flexing on you. Okay. No, but in all honesty, good luck with that. I'm sorry, I ate something that was very salty, and now we're like extremely thirsty right now. Yeah, imagine bullying a man for drinking water. A man is just trying to drink, okay? Drink well water. Oh yeah. Let me just go to my well that I definitely have, Mr. Orange Horseman. Okay. And you know what? Let me just drink a bunch of tea like a woman while I'm at that. Okay. Yeah, it's so true. At least it's not tea. Video Maker says, can APU follow me on Twitter? It's up to you, Vince. Who says it's up to me? Who says it's up to me? How do you know who runs the APU Twitter account? I may be logged into it. It doesn't mean I run it, So anyways, back to what we were talking about here. You should take this as an insult, That's really what we're dealing with Dan Crenshaw right now. And the guy's so bold, again, because he thinks it's like, ultimately, the guy's really grifting off the situation. The guy's taking serious political advantage of the situation because it's like, we have 12 servicemen who, got killed in Afghanistan. That's tragic. And then basically, though, Dan sees it as an opportunity. It's like, well, soldiers just died. So that means I'm an ex-soldier. So I get the chance to go on Twitter and cuss everyone out and act however I want. Yeah, seriously. But anyways, the second part, of course, that really quickly that I wanted to talk about also on stream and is very important is the fact that you see outwardly, Dan Crenshaw is the epitome of what we've been warning about. And based Ian Smith, he actually got it. He said the same exact thing, on Instagram, which is the fact that, you know, in the fallout of all this, you're again going to see, like we've always been saying on this channel, and I have to repeat myself because I think this is probably the single most important takeaway from all of it, is not even the fact that the regime is incompetent or whatever. It's the fact that you're again going to see neocons who, if they had their way, would have just kept us in Afghanistan. They did not support the Trump or the Biden withdrawal or their own withdrawal plan, basically just wanted to keep us there. They're going to be platformed. These people are going to go on Fox News and stuff, and you're going to see them, and they will say things that on the surface may appear based or whatever because they're criticizing Joe Biden. A lot of people are going to fall for it. And but in reality, again, these are people who support total endless war. And let me actually see if I can pull it up. This is exactly what you're seeing from Dan Crenshaw. I think Dan Crenshaw is the archetype. He's basically the prototypical, really like strong example of exactly what I've been warning about, exactly what I've been talking about. And if you actually follow Dan Crenshaw on Instagram, you may have seen a few of the stories about this. Let me see if I can find them. I know I screenshotted most of them in my camera roll, but let me see. Let me see if I can find it exactly. And if I can't find it exactly, I will just simply summarize because I remember pretty accurately the case that he was making on the entire subject. Let us see. Let us see if we can find this. Oh, I think we do have it. Yeah. So, again, and let me remind people that the official stance of Donald Trump was not that the war in Afghanistan was good. As a matter of fact, it was Donald Trump arguably was, the most anti-foreign war president that we've had since Jimmy Carter. Let us remember that. Let us remember that to the people who consider themselves Trump loyalists and MAGA and, that are like a part of the base first and foremost. Let us remind ourselves that the deadline by which Joe Biden withdrew, it was actually delayed, right? It was actually pushed back from the original deadline that Trump wanted to withdraw from, right? This is something that, like, quite frankly, a lot of people just won't remember. Let us remember that many of us were criticizing Joe Biden for pushing back the deadline because we were accusing him essentially of being a war hawk and wanting more endless war. And let us also point out that in reality, okay, what he was going to withdraw because we need to make sure Afghanistan is stable first before we leave. Yeah, that was a big failure. Yeah, that worked so well. But let us also consider the fact that you have a deal that Trump kind of left in place with the Taliban, and actually by pushing that back, Joe Biden actually really put a lot of Americans and stuff in more danger and made the situation more volatile because you didn't actually stick to the agreement that was made, right? But anyways, let us just remind ourselves of that, and let us actually contrast this, those things again. That's what we really believe. And yeah, we can say that the withdrawal was messy or whatever, but at its core, the withdrawal was well intended. Or at least the intent of a withdrawal is good. Maybe I'm sure Joe Biden had, ulterior motives, but you got Dan Crenshaw posting stuff like this on Instagram. Hey, no more endless wars, crowd. This is what you asked for, right? Why aren't you defending this Afghanistan withdrawal? Biden did exactly what you wanted. Honestly, kind of entertaining to watch the no more endless war crowd struggle to figure out who to be mad at. Politicians, generals, warmongers, Biden did what you want. Foreign policy is built upon an emotional slogan. This is what you end up with. Listen. I think it's pretty obvious just from that statement alone. What does Dan Crenshaw ultimately want? Because he's in criticism of Biden's withdrawal. He's also in criticism of the people who wanted Trump's withdrawal. Right? Again, what Dan Crenshaw wanted, and he was pretty open about this. And let me find try to see if I can find the story where he's even more direct about this, more blunt about it. Right? Oh, here you go. I found it. He also says on Instagram, reminder, these emotional, no more endless war types wanted Biden to do this, right? Which is what? Withdraw from Afghanistan. Okay. So again, what is Crenshaw saying that the problem was? Not that we left weapons behind or that, we should have gotten American citizens out or whatever. The problem that Dan Crenshaw repeatedly identifies is withdrawal at its core. That's it. He is against withdrawal. He has the same stance as Bill Kristol and John Bolton on the issue. We shouldn't have withdrawn at all. Crenshaw is making it pretty obvious that's what he wants, but we still have boomers who will get on here and say, what are you talking about? We're not against the withdrawal. Crенshaw's not against the withdrawal. He's just criticizing the way it's being done. People, It cannot basically get more obvious than this. Yes, he's not out there and he's not getting out here and outwardly saying like, we should have stayed, partly because he basically thinks you're gullible enough to basically go along with this as long as he doesn't outright say that. Like it's pretty obvious that's what he's saying. Crenshaw is the same guy who again opposed Trump withdrawing from Syria. He's opposed basically every withdrawal ever, including this one, and we still have people somehow falling for this guy, somehow thinking that it's like, no, Crenshaw is just criticizing the methods, bro. He's outright saying that the problem is not our methods, the problem is the withdrawal. And I quote, reminder, these emotional no more endless war types wanted Biden to do this, right? He's basically saying, no matter how he withdrew, this was what's going to happen. So why aren't you defending it, bro? Like the problem is the withdrawal itself. That's what he's saying. Okay. So again, he continues on. He says, those of you screaming stupid, nonsensical insults like neocons at the top of your lungs, you wanted this. No, it's not a stupid, nonsensical insult. It is true, and it is pretty clear you see most of us as stupid and nonsensical, but to be fair, I think that's pretty mutual. And he says, and you got it. Can't help but notice it's always the young dudes, the loud, tough guys who are the most emotional about it. Oh, yeah. Are you saying the Zoomers? You guys got that? Okay. That is an open dig, essentially, at the Zoomers. Okay. Crenshaw is look at this guy. Pro-war, pro-free trade, pro-mass immigration, but, whatever. Anti-Zoomer. Okay. Again, that's why I say this is really personal, Dan. Okay. This is really personal at this point, just getting out here and disparaging the base like that. But, some people are just so cucked, essentially, that they continue to go along with this. Perhaps insecurity. Now he's saying, perhaps insecurity drives their anger. Who knows? Just an observation. This guy's going totally off the rails. He's just throwing out every insult he can at people who, just partially think that endless war is a bad idea. After seeing what destruction and death is brought by a complete power vacuum, I can't believe some guys are still sticking to the same tired arguments. We debunked Crenshaw's arguments in our video titled Owning the Libs and Neocons at the Same Time. So if you want to hear the whole democracy pitch, the whole instability pitch, you can listen to that. But essentially, this is the reality of a lot of the world, And if we are to say that, we talked about this on that video, so I won't try to repeat too many talking points here. But this is what we're dealing with, right? And again, I think most people kind of get it at this point. Most people, I don't know if all people get it, to be honest, but make it pretty obvious. Crenshaw doesn't like us. Crenshaw is pretty insulting to us, as a matter of fact. And Crenshaw supports staying in Afghanistan and he's pretty open about this. He's not saying, well, we should have had a more responsible withdrawal. He's saying we shouldn't have withdrawn. And you still have boomers and stuff, and you still have like Trump supporters like seeing this guy on Fox and being like, yeah, I agree with that. And honestly, that's what I kind of see my role in all of this situation is you're going to hear a lot of talking points about Biden's with incompetency and all that stuff. And, I don't really even think all of those things are wrong or disingenuous. Like a lot of it's true. But what I think most people ultimately are basically missing out of the scenario is stuff like this. Basically, the fact that this essentially failure, if you want to deem it that, has been basically the biggest opportunity for people like this to retake power of the conversation, power over the narrative, and all of the sort of conservative reactionary sense to be like, screw terrorists, yeah, America, rah, like don't mess with America. It's courtesy of the red, white, and blue by Toby Keith. That sort of knee-jerk reaction. I see it. Many such cases actually causing a lot of people to actually kind of go along with it and kind of shill alongside Dan Crenshaw. So, and I love to see it too. Listen, I'm just gonna say this, okay? Because we've said a lot in the stream, but let me actually finish, and we'll go to super chats or whatever by saying this. A message to, we've gone over this. We've made it pretty clear. Dan Crenshaw doesn't like Trump supporters, doesn't like people like us, and again, is in support of staying in Afghanistan, which is something that was fundamentally antithetical, not just to Trump, the president, but Trumpism to the idea, to the statement MAGA, America First, or whatever itself. It was antithetical to both the 2016 and 2020 campaigns, like all of it, right? It's everything, basically ending these foreign wars, ending them responsibly, but ending these foreign wars is something that was very central to Trumpism. It is very antithetical, very something that Crenshawism, whatever you want to call it, is very against, right? And but yet you see, these supposedly pro-Trump influencers, these supposedly MAGA influencers. Okay, and I'm not going to say their names, but I do see them, and I know who they are. Okay, out here sharing Dan Crenshaw's posts, out here, trying to basically show Dan Crenshaw owning the libs and being like, "Here you go." And it is very funny because these people are like pretend that they're pro-Trump, pretend to be MAGA, but they still get an invite to let me just say this, they get an invite to speak at the Crenshaw Youth Summit, which is supposed to happen in like September 20th, somewhere around there, right? They get an invite, and I don't know how much they're getting paid, but they get an invite to speak at the Crenshaw Youth Summit, and all of a sudden it's it's shilling for Dan Crenshaw and pretending like none of this stuff, like just like, but I'm pro-Trump, right? I'm pro-Trump. Yeah. No, you're not. Okay. Beware of these people. Beware of the influencers. Beware of the influencers that are sharing around Crenshaw. And you look, some of them actually are speaking at the Crenshaw Youth Summit. So, anyways, that's Dan Crenshaw. And so the response to Dan Crenshaw, essentially, you don't have the right to talk to us however you want because you're a veteran. We don't care, quite frankly, and if you want to play this, you want to have this dick measuring contest, pardon my language, essentially with Ian Smith. The reality of the situation is Ian Smith is far more of a patriot than you will ever be. I don't care, but I'm a Navy SEAL. I served the globalist American empire and got wounded for it. I'm a real patriot. You're not. You're just LARPing. No, Ian Smith is a bigger patriot than you. And quite frankly, if you want to be this disrespectful to us, if you want to treat Trump supporters like crap, in return, we ought to treat you like crap. Okay, don't give money to this guy. Don't patronize this guy. Don't go to this guy's youth summit unless you're going to go T-pose on him, in which case that is acceptable to me. Go ahead, do that, right? So, stop falling for this. This guy's a fraud. This guy's like a fraud through and through, and he could, but he, again, always finds a way to basically uncancel himself. He always just finds the right opportunities, and here he is back. It's like, let's cancel. How about this? Hashtag cancel Crenshaw. Okay. Cancel. Can we get in the chat? Can we get hashtag cancel Crenshaw in the chat? Okay. I want to see it. Okay. We need to see this. Okay. It's time to like fully, I think, drop this guy. Okay. And the sooner or later that it happens, the much better off we will be. And people like him, but Dan is someone. Yeah. I think we all, most of us, kind of fell for the Dan Crenshaw thing at one point or another. I remember like in early 2019, I was a freaking child. Okay, in my defense, I was like 15, 16 years old. I to be honest, I didn't really know much about him. Other than he was a Republican with a cool eye patch who was a veteran. And this is the trap again that most people fall into. It's like he looks cool. He admittedly has a pretty cool physiognomy, and the eye patch, meanwhile, yes, somewhat kind of a gimmick, still is in the sense that he could have a glass eye. I've heard people say that, but no, it's cool. It's cool. It's good optics for him. Like but it's very easy to be fooled by that. You look behind the glamour, you look behind the kind of supposed coolness, his supposed swag, right? What you have is John McCain. What you have is another Mitt Romney. What you have is a neocon establishment guy through and through, and that's not going to change. And that doesn't change simply because he says one or two things you agree with. Don't trust the guy. Don't patronize the guy. He is in kind of a purple district, so that's frankly up to you if you want to vote for the guy. But stop pretending like this guy is remotely a presidential or vice presidential contender, or even a contender for senator of Texas or whatever, or a guy that should even receive a platform at anywhere, at any conservative conference, whatever it is. Like none of it. Okay. It is time to hashtag cancel Crenshaw for good. Not for a few months, not for a few weeks, and then he comes back and he's on Fox again for good. Okay, make it happen, folks. Hashtag cancel Crenshaw. All right. Ian Smith did nothing wrong. It's so true. Anyways, guys, with that being said, we're gonna go on to super chats and stuff like that. Sorry, I know we've been a little bit all over the place this stream, but we love the chaos, right? We love the chaos. All right, we got a lot of cancel Crenshaw'S in the chat. We love to see it. We love to see it. I need another water. I'm literally so thirsty right now. Quesadillas are good. Someone says quesadillas are good too, but tacos are the best. I mean, tacos are more. They're just more there, right? There's just more there. It's like it's kind of like the default Mexican food, I guess. But to be honest, it's like yeah, that's what you eat as a meal. But in terms of a snack, honestly, I don't think that anything really beats a tortilla and cheese. Like it's not very filling, but it is very good. It is very good. We got a food conversation going on. During the Bush years, I remember Fox News and National Review said paleo conservative who criticized the wars Bush started were unpatriotic. Yeah, no, it's true. There's a very famous piece, attacks people like Pat Buchanan, Sam Francis, stuff like this, called, it was published in 2003 following the start of the Iraq War, titled Unpatriotic Conservatives. Like the National Review straight up labeled these people unpatriotic. Remember, now that is ultimately the conservative establishment. That is and there are definitely good people in the establishment. Don't get me wrong, who are on our side. But as a majority, who really controls it overall, are people like this who think we're unpatriotic, think we're dumb, think we're look down on us in the same way Crenshaw does, and the Crenshaw really comes from that same stock. It's true. It's true. All right, let's go to chat. Vince is Italian. It is true. Vince is Italian. It's actually very funny. You pull out. Where are my Ray-Bans? I sometimes have the propensity to like look way more Italian than usual. Like, for instance, this. For instance, this. Sometimes it comes out. You know what I'm saying? Vince, what do you think of Top Gun? Haven't seen it in a while, but good movie. Great movie, actually. Legendary movie. It's true. Crenshaw literally endorsed Liz. Imagine still defending this person because they're a cool-looking veteran. Yeah. Of course. Are you Italian or Viet-Alian? I guess you could say I'm Viet-Alian, right? That's what the breed would be. Vince, will you start your own mafia? Bold of you to assume that I haven't already done so. Just kidding. That's a joke. Top Gun is great. Highway to the Danger Zone, so true. Oh my God, Wilson Felice says, Vince, are you good at cooking? If so, what is your favorite dish to make? I'm not good at cooking, no. I am a dude, okay? And that's not to say I'm incompetent. Like, I can buy groceries, I can like cook things for myself, but I am no master chef. I am no gourmet chef, okay? But I do need to start cooking more because, let me say, this is I don't even know if I should say this because it is just degrading and it's just embarrassing. But I will say the last week or so, I have not really been living my best lifestyle. Okay, and what I mean by that is the fact that instead of cooking like a responsible human being, I had my dinner at Wawa last night. Okay, and that was like it slowly degraded. Like I was having a lot of like takeout and stuff like that. And then last night it's like 11 o'clock. I didn't eat dinner and I went to Wawa to like buy like a sandwich or something. And at that point, and I'm not to disparage Wawa. Okay, it's definitely a step above eating your dinner at 7-Eleven. But I was like, holy crap, you just got your dinner from a gas station. This needs to stop. Okay, it's not like you can't afford to get groceries. You're just being lazy. You're just being a bum degenerate. And at that point, I was just like, this needs to stop. So today, we bought groceries. Okay, we actually bought food to cook. Because I was ashamed. I had to look. I looked myself in the mirror last night. I was like, this is not the person I want to be. Okay, this is not the person I want to be. In my defense, it is like my second week living on my own, but still I have to expect better for myself. Okay, have to expect better for myself. It's not an acceptable way to live. Okay. Vince, how is Culver's? We have not had Culver's yet. Probably gonna go sometime this week or next week. We're gonna film it. Okay, we're gonna film it. We'll do a review or whatever. That'll be like a vlog we're gonna do. Okay, but I've not had it yet. I've not had it yet. We have that Checkers though, which I'll say is very underrated. Like, when people talk about, iconic Southern whatever food chains, Checkers really never comes to mind. It's always like Waffle House, Zaxby's, Chick-fil-A. Like Checkers is cheap, and it's admittedly it's like pretty good. Like for fast food, it's actually like solid food. It's not like plastic or anything. Vince, do you live in a dorm or apartment? I live in an apartment. Was not going to do a dorm. We have content to create. How can I create content out of a dorm? You know, we had to get an apartment. Chick-fil-A will always be king, give or take. It's up there. It's up there. Closed on Sundays, so I guess it is king. Great. 714 is a psyop manufactured by Dan Crenshaw. It's true. Frederico says, Vince, what do you think of Polish people? Okay. Well, look, that's already a lose-lose situation, especially coming from you, because, you know, if I disparage Polish people, that's just cruel, that's just unnecessary. And I genuinely like the Polish. But if I say that I'm cool with the Polish, I like the Polish, you know, you're just going to say confirmed Vince Dow is Polish, because that's what you always do in every single chat. I'm not Polish. That doesn't even make any sense. Okay, I'm not. It's just not the case. It's just false. Okay, it's just slander. But with that being said, we're pretty cool with we got the 821 cockroach. There's so many gimmick accounts now. The 821 cockroach, man. The 821 cockroach. In general, the cockroaches in Florida, they're not very fun. They're actually much smaller than the ones we had where I lived in California, but they do get quite annoying, you know. We have to sink the Bismarck quite a lot in real life. I disagree. Cooking is for everyone. I mean, in theory, it's true to an extent. Like, I think, to be honest, guys should know how to cook, at least like basic stuff, you know. But, you know, it's just like, you know, it's just true. It's like, this is why we need women. Okay, to be fair to the females. Okay, to be fair to the females. This is why we need you guys. Okay, this is why we need you guys, because you leave most, and some of us, yeah, some of us are very good, but you leave most of us to our own, and we're gonna eat. We're gonna get our dinner from Wawa. Okay, it's true. It's true. It's true. That's why I need a girlfriend. It's true. You know, because if not, it's gonna be Wawa dinners from now on. No, it's just kidding. It's just kidding. Okay, we're trying our best. Let's see how long it lasts, but we're trying our best to actually cook at home. Okay. Sigma male moment. I don't know. Wouldn't a Sigma male stereotypically like be someone who like basically eats like a gamer? You know what I mean? Like I would think so. I don't know. It kind of depends how you see it. Noah Boyd says, can you explain T-posing? So at its core, T-posing is like just the default stance basically of a character model in video games. I guess that's how it started. I don't know, sometime 2018 or so, it became this kind of trend to like T-pose in pictures, basically. And I guess lately it's just weirdly become like a symbol of the dissident right. So I don't know. Okay, I don't know. Is that an explanation? It's just a thing we do. I don't even know if there is an explanation for it, other than like that's where it comes from. But I mean, what else is there really to say about it? Ooh, I turned on my LED lights. Look at that. Look at that. Doesn't look at this. Look at this. Oh, 714 believers owned yet again. So true. Sigma grind set meme is good, but actual Sigma male grind set is just a cope for beta people. I don't agree with that. I think that it is often used as a cope by beta people. I don't think it inherently, in its purest form and its purest nature, that I don't think that's true. I think it's just basically hijacked. It's basically psyoped by beta people, right? It is used as an excuse, I will say that, but dating men who can cook is a crutch for the modern woman to deny even more of her family. That is a true. That's just 100% true statement. Yeah, it's true. You know, and like I'm not anti men like cooking, but like I think traditionally, you know, it should more be the case. It is, and I genuinely think women are just better at cooking too. Okay, it's also true. You men can taste the love in food. Okay, and women, by their femininity, are much better at infusing that, at least into homemade food, than than we are. It's true. It's true. Listen. I think there are natural rules for both of us, and you know, when we kind of try to flip the roles, generally speaking, you know, the other sex doesn't do a good job of it on both sides, and that's part of the reason why most men are not the best at cooking, myself included. Like it's just how it is, right? It's just how it works. It is the reality of nature, you know. So my guy, I've never met a woman who can cook better than my brother. Again, there are anomalies, okay? There are exceptions to rules. But if we were to take 50,000 men and 50,000 women, and we would see what is the aggregate trend, the aggregate trend would, again, be the fact that the women are just better and more efficient and more willing to cook than the men. You know, that's what we're really saying. More so than sorry, I need to vacuum. It's getting dusty in here. More so than that, like, yeah, some men are like admittedly very good at cooking, but it's not always the case. It's not always the case. You need a haircut. Also, are you pre-law? I am pre-law. People are very divided on my hair. I mean, I will get a haircut probably like sometime this week, but some people think it's too long, and some people think it's like very epic that it's long. Like I look like who's that one character? Who's that one character that Kai always like basically tries to emulate? I forget his freaking name. Is it Patrick Bateman? Right. But people are very divided on my hair. Some people like the long, some people hate it. It's true. DAO cooking tutorial, please. Oh, cooking tutorial of what? Literally, I don't cook very complex things. I usually just cook like ground turkey or ground beef, or like today I went to a Korean market and bought like beef tongue, but like that's like very basic meat. It's just like meat that you lay on a pan and let it like fry. Like that's literally what I do. Okay, I don't make complex recipes. You think I have the capacity to do that? Not true. Pasta. I mean, yeah, I don't really make pasta, but that is something I can make. But it's just like, you know, new Doyle video watch party. I don't know. Do you guys want to do that? Do you guys want to watch the Doyle video? We could do that. John will say I'm somehow stealing his like somehow by watching his content on live stream, that just means I'm stealing his ideas. There's many such cases, but let's see. I don't see it. What are you guys talking about? Where's the new Doyle video? I literally don't see a Doyle video. I don't know what they're talking about. Cooking is for women. This is there you go. Now you're getting some. Now you're getting somewhere. Okay, now that part is true. Okay, and to be honest, when I really think about it, I mean, technically what I mostly cook is cooking because it's not like on a grill, but it is generally the case that most of the time what I cook is like meat. You know what I mean? So it kind of is very similar concept to, I guess, grilling. So that is true. That is a solid assessment of the situation. That is very true. It's very true. He just uploaded it. Well, I don't even see it. I don't even see it here, boys. So I don't know. I think this is a psyop. It's the 831 psyop. People say there's a new Doyle video, but it doesn't actually exist. I think that's the case because I don't see it. I keep refreshing. I'm not finding it. I'm not finding it, folks. I don't know where this thing is. Oh, it's the should you still join the military video? Okay. I don't know. Should we watch that? The thing, actually, you know what? I don't want to. You know what? I also at the same time I don't want to take away John's ad revenue. So I don't know. I don't know if we should watch it or not. I feel like you should actually click so he gets views, right? Okay, I'm being a good friend. I'm being a good friend. Okay, there you go. Would John do for the same for me? Probably not. But look at that. Look at that. Good friend right there. Good friend right there. He needs the ad revenue. Okay, go watch it on his video. Okay. Don't steal John's views. It's not very epic. It's true. John needs the views. John gets ad revenue. I thought YouTube cucked him. No, he gets a lot of yellow monetizations, but I mean, that's probably not a video that would get a yellow monetization. Just looking at the title and stuff, he should be fine. And even if not, he still gets paid probably for sponsors by the RPMs and stuff like that. So either way, it's you help him by clicking on his video either way because of sponsors and stuff like that. Support your local John Doyle. It's so true. More base to cook, teach your lady to cook than just grill while your woman cooks. It is the case. It is the case. The American man, and he just wants to grill. It's the case. All right, guys. Well, we'll go for like 5 more minutes here, and then I'll wrap it up so you guys can go watch a new HOC or whatever you want to do. So Let's see. If John wanted ad revenue, he would upload regularly. Okay, good. It's true. It's a solid point. What does yellow monetization mean? It's like if your video is not considered ad friendly by just the YouTube algorithm, which a lot of conservative political videos often are, then you will get what's called limited monetization, which is basically where you do get some money from the video, but you don't really have access to like normal ads basically. So only certain advertisers will play on your video, like a small handful. So basically you only say you basically make a very small fraction of what you would normally make in profit off that video off of ads. That's what happens when you have limited monetization. And if you do a video on something controversial, like I don't know, like LGBT, Afghanistan, because it's war related, whatever, like usually you'll get a yellow monetization instead of a green one. Lately, John is uploading regularly. No, it's true. It's true. We love to see it. We love to see it. John has been fixing his uploads lately. It's true. It's true. Props to John. We love to see it. We always had faith, didn't we? Okay. Plan, trust, non-plan. Just the same is true on this channel as it is on his channel. Those who fail to trust the plan, again, get owned like every single time. Okay, so in the same case here, it's like 714 this, 714 that. Same case there. John's screwed. Doesn't have his life together. This and that. Get owned again. Get owned again. Plan, not trusters. Okay, just seriously, especially when it comes to people who are involved in our circle. Okay, just trust the plan. Just trust the plan. Okay, and that was part of the plan too. Knocking my camera off the ironing board table. That was part of the plan too. But you don't trust it. You guys always doubt the plan, and you're always owned for it. It's true. All right, we got a $5 super chat from Asher, who says, I just got here, but I'm not rewinding yet because I want to vibe with Vince. It's so true. It's so true. Our post stream conversations are unironically typically much better than the actual stream itself, right? Vince, do you know who is the girl in John Doyle's intro? I actually do know that. I do know that, but I don't know if that's supposed to be known. Grady says Zoom when. We'll probably do it at like the end of September, so that way I can get like more members basically on board, and that way we can actually have like a bigger Zoom call. It's probably end of September. But your propaganda poster is coming soon, Grady, and I'm gonna record the members only videos for like the August stuff sometime this week, and they should be out by like Sunday or whatever this week. Okay, so stay tuned for that. And if you're not a member, become a member. Okay, you can get access to the 714 hearings. Many of you guys always claim to have an opinion on 714, but never even seen the hearings because you're not members, and so it's just like cringe. You don't know what you're you literally have no clue what you're talking about. Cringe ratio. Okay, and also we have 2 exclusive videos coming sometime this week, as well as the Q&A, and that's going to be epic. And so that's going to be the content from the month of August. And then, come late September, early October, you will get the October content, unless I choose to space it out or schedule it differently. But become a member, okay? Get your own, just go through the member tiers if you're interested, okay? But consider joining, all right? It's very epic, I promise. Mark Kirk War Room wants to investigate a certain, okay. Okay, that's not YouTube friendly, unfortunately. Video Maker says VinceDao is so base that he attracts white, Asian, Hispanic, and black men all at the same. No, this is not ratio. What? False information, fake news, psyop. Not true. I do not attract men. That is just false information. Mr. Orange Horseman says thoughts on Anglo Boy Autumn. Anglo Boy Autumn. I mean, I guess that's kind of just a continuation of White Boy Summer. What's very weird, I don't know how many like actual Anglo-Saxon people are there in America these days. It's kind of weird, right? Like, how many people do you actually know that are Anglo-Saxon? Which is obviously that's like the original kind of a founding stock, right? But most of like the white people, like you think of it, like most of the time, what are they? They're like Irish, German, Italian. Like, how many Anglo-Saxon people do you actually know? That's weird. But if the Anglos want to have Autumn, okay, go ahead. It's not going to stop Asian Autistic Boy Autumn, but I guess we can. We're diversifying, right? We're diversifying. We're differentiating. So there's just going to be a bunch of. Every season is going to be like 4 or 5 different things. Mostly concentrated in New England. Yeah, I guess that's true. But like you go other places of the country, there's not a lot of Anglo-Saxons. It's very weird. It's very weird, right? Rep is literally white and Asian at the same time. Well, I am technically white and Asian at the same time too. I mean, by contemporary standards, I am. Now traditionally Italians are actually not considered white, right? Mediterraneans traditionally were not considered to be white people, but I guess they are now. So that makes me the same thing. Thoughts on Hispanic Thoughts on Hispanic essay Halloween. Why do the Hispanics get Halloween? But okay. You know what? I don't mind it. Okay, I don't mind it. That is quite funny. We love Hispanics. I'll go along with that. Okay, I'll go along with that. React to Mark Kirk tribute by Why though? Just why though? All right, what is it with the Mark? Why do we have to react to Mark Kirk stuff? Okay, I barely know who this guy is. What is some Republican senator from Illinois for like a few terms? Like the most WASP area in America is ironically the Northeast. Well, that actually makes sense. It actually makes now that you say that makes sense. Because you look also at the kind of the original the New England, even back to the colonial days, the New England colonies were actually mainly the places that were settled like overwhelmingly by like the actual kind of English Anglos, right? Like you look at a lot of the middle colonies and the southern colonies, they were more diverse, right? Like Amsterdam, New York, originally a Dutch colony, and these places had a lot more like kind of like diversity and immigrants, you know, Irish, French people, right, Catholics, all this stuff. But the Northeast historically was like the purely like Englishman kind of place, very, very WASP, very Anglo-Saxon up there. So that actually makes sense. That makes sense. And now that you say that, that actually makes a lot of sense. Thoughts on Ben Shapiro's sister? I don't know. I don't know much about Ben Shapiro's sister. Isn't she like a violin player or something? That's basically all I know about her. That she went to USC and she plays violin. That's all I know about Ben Shapiro's sister. Vince, you should. Okay, maybe I'll check that out. Let's see. Halloween is a pagan thing. Kind of. I mean, honestly, it really just depends how you celebrate it, right? So there is that to be said. Have you ever went on a boat? Have you ever went on a boat? It's however you gone on a boat. Just kidding. Just kidding. What do it look like? Dan Crenshaw, a Harvard elite that's big on grammar to you. Have I been on a boat? I've been on like mini like tour boats, canoes. I don't know if you'd say I don't know. I actually have not been on like a regular like yacht style like or like a speedboat. Like I've actually never been on one of those. I've only been on like those kind of tour vessels that like not like cruise ships, but like Disneyland, they have like the tour thing and stuff like that. Like I've done stuff like that. Thompson says thoughts on Bean Shapiro. So it's not Ben Shapiro, it's Bean Shapiro. I remember those memes. One of the best memes still is the Ben Shapiro hamburger helper meme. I will admit, ideological differences with Ben Shapiro aside, of which there are some. The Ben Shapiro hamburger helper meme was pretty good. I don't know whatever happened to that page, but that page went on going for like a good year. Like there was one of the first meme pages I followed on Instagram on my political account was Ben Shapiro hamburger helper, and it was as it sounds like, it was Ben Shapiro as the hamburger helper. It was very interesting. It had a lot of pretty complex lore behind it, so it was interesting. I don't know exactly what Bean Shapiro is a reference to, though. I guess that is Ben Shapiro as a bean. I don't know. It's kind of like 2016, 2017 tier comedy to begin with. But to be fair, I do look upon that stuff with quite a bit of nostalgia, so I won't entirely hate on it, to be honest. Thoughts on DC statehood? I'm against DC statehood. I think do I have a video on? I might have a video on it. I don't know if it's on YouTube. I definitely have a TikTok about it. I'm not sure. Ben Shapiro destroys my sandcastle with facts and logic. Yeah, well screw that's an atrocity, and we should destroy his sandcastle back with emotions and feelings. Get owned, Ben. get on. How dare how dare he just come in and just like people say, oh, Ben Shapiro's a neocon. Well, I mean, I'm very inclined to agree now that you're invading other people's sandcastles and trying to impose your own sandcastle on top of it. It's not a good look, Ben. Not a good look, Ben. Why did you destroy a sandcastle? It's just not good. Do you think you'll ever do a Christy Gnome and Matt Walsh stream? I don't know. It's kind of old at this point. We might talk. I mean, maybe I'll bring it up later on when Christy Gnome inevitably does more to ruin her career. I don't know how much you guys want to see that, but I feel like it is a little bit of old news, so I'm not sure. Say no to sandcastle imperialism. It's so true. I'm for sandcastle self-determination. It's true. Sam Matson says, did you hear that Texas's 6-week abortion ban is being allowed to take effect? I don't know. Was it facing a legal challenge or something? This is a huge victory for once. I would agree. It's not the final victory, obviously. The total victory is, we know what that is. But that's great to hear. That's great to hear if it was facing challenges in court. It's a very good step. It's a very good step. We love to see it. What Texas did on banning abortion today was based, very based. So true. So true. 0 days since John Doyle has uploaded. It has been 0 days. It's true. Why is it so it got dusty in here all of a sudden. I need to vacuum. Folks. It's called me do a little bit of vacuuming. Cairo says, what do you think the Asian boy autumn equivalent drink to Starbucks pumpkin spice latte? Oh, it's definitely something with boba. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. It has to be something boba related. Now, what type of milk tea with boba? Probably Thai milk tea with boba. I mean, that's kind of the default. It's very funny because a lot of people, when they try boba, or as some people call it bubble tea, that's what I'm referring to if you're in a different region. Actually, they call it bubble tea here. It's called boba back from where I'm from. The real Asian word is boba, okay? But it's interesting because a lot of people think that like the default or the house milk tea is like the default flavor. No, I would argue Thai milk tea is kind of the default boba flavor, and then we go from there. So I'd say that taro is probably my favorite boba drink flavor, but there is Thai milk tea. Orange Horseman says, Vince now talking about tea. Yeah, there's a difference, buddy. It's milk tea. Okay, there's a big difference. Regular tea is like watery and gross. I don't like regular tea. Milk. I don't even know if milk tea constitutes tea, but that's what it's called, as milk tea. It's very different. Okay, it's very different. And also, we do not drink that as a substitute for coffee. See, people are very often misinterpreting my stance on tea. It's not that you can never drink tea. It's that you should drink coffee for coffee purposes over tea for coffee purposes. That has always been my stance on it, and it's true. Boba is basically a dessert that we have like once a month at most. Okay, it's not a daily drink. If you drink tea on a daily basis over coffee, you're a clown. You're just a clown. So, I would also say if you drink an energy drink over coffee every day, you're just you're kind of a child. And if you drink nothing, if you literally are such a Chad that you have enough energy to basically go without any caffeine, then props to you for that. But coffee, I would say, is the only acceptable form of thing drinking for caffeine. You don't drink milk tea for caffeine. You drink it because it's good. Okay. Chai tea is like drinking ice cream. I don't know if chai tea is like drinking ice cream, but I guess you could say Thai tea kind of. I thought we were this is a reference to the Ryan Fournier live. It's true. I thought we were peasants and Caitlyn Jenner would be leading the polls. Yeah, well. Vindicated. I was vindicated. Okay, look. I talked it out with. Let me be clear that there's no hard feelings with Ryan. We talked it out. He's not a bad guy. He was a little bit drunk, but I'll forgive that. But it is true that he made some bold predictions that came very wrong. I was vindicated. I said Caitlyn's coalition or Bruce's coalition was going to collapse, and look what happened there. Look what happened there. It's true. It's so true. Green tea is good. Not a big fan, to be honest. I'm more of an orange soda kind of guy. As like a dessert, I'll take it. Yeah. I don't think it's really a daily thing. Do you drink Dunkin' donut coffee? I do when it's like all I can get in the vicinity. It's not really my go-to. It is. I'll admit it's pretty good. It's pretty good, but it has a ton of sugar. Okay, but it is pretty damn good. I do like Dunkin' Donut coffee, but normally I try to make coffee at home. If Dunkin' Donuts is the closest place in vicinity, I'll usually go there. But it's very sweet. It's more like drinking a dessert than like drinking coffee. That is true about it. Let's see. Trader says dating advice. Okay, I don't know if we can do this on stream, on a stream Q&A. You know what? Maybe this should be a members only Q&A. Maybe or not members only, like one of our exclusive members only videos. Well, we'll do some dating advice. I don't know if I'm really the CEO of this question. I don't know if I'm really the expert of it. I mean, you know, we do okay with the women. I don't know if I'd be considered like ultimate Sigma male Chad when it comes to this stuff, but we could take a crack at it. Okay, we could take a crack at it. We could take a crack at the woman question. Fake it. That's true. Fake it till you make it. That is true. That is true. Are the live streams daily? How do I be a member? They're not. They're kind of whenever. I usually do like 2 a week, give or take. It's kind of on a random schedule. Just check when they are. Sometimes we do videos instead. But to become a member, I believe the link is in my description. There's a thing that says become a member. But if you're on desktop, you can go next to the subscribe button and click the join button. Right. And if you don't see the join button, try to check the description. I'm pretty sure it's there. But that you can become a member that way. Video Maker says, hey, Vince, you missed my super chat. All right, let's see your super chat. Let's see your super chat here. Where's your super chat? I don't see your super. Oh, have I drank Indian milk tea? Chai, Vince. I think so. I mean, I've heard of it. I'm pretty sure I've had it. I'm not actually sure 100%. But if I did, I will say that Thai milk tea is still the better milk. I mean, like I said, taro milk tea, that's my favorite. But Thai milk tea is really like second place, and it's a very close second place. And I don't think very many others can compete, to be honest. I mean, there are some places that have good gimmick flavors like mango, or I've had some places that have like horchata milk tea and stuff like that. And those are, I'll try those sometimes, but to be honest, it's taro milk tea or Thai milk tea are really bust, to be honest. I think most others are frankly quite fake. My Spaniard mom told me that coffee in America is mostly pretty bad. Do you agree? It honestly, I do agree it is, but that's kind of what makes it based, like the sort of bitter, crappy cup of joe. Like, I just feel like it's so American. It's just so true. So I would say that's true, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. Notice how John only uploads when the 627 arc shows signs of coming. That is true. Okay, that is, it's very interesting, right? So, okay, this is an inside joke. I'm talking to Rep right now. Okay, you guys are gonna have no clue what we're talking about, and frankly, you shouldn't have a clue what we're talking about. Okay, very top secret conversation we're about to have, but it is true. It is true, right? That arc comes to a close. Now he starts posting. Notice the weeks he was posting were very specific because the 627 arc was less active. Okay. The 627 arc, let's just say that it was kind of, it was partially, not entirely, it was partially the reason why John's upload schedule was kind of on and off. But that seems to be coming to an end now. It's coming to an end now. So good. I feel kind of bad, but it is true that at least he'll stay focused. Okay, he'll stay focused. Which is good. Noah Boyd says, I'm back from watching John Doyle. We love to see it. Welcome back. Vince, my teacher beat his wife and is now in jail. I don't know what you want me to do. What do I do? What a comment. What a comment that was. I don't know. Teach yourself the class or something, I guess. I don't know. Vince said a cup of, I don't know. I was barista once. I used to make the most based Americanos. Very cool. I have achieved true enlightenment and have no need for caffeinated drinks. Okay, well, you know what? That's a redemption arc for Orange Horseman. That's a good thing. I will say I have not achieved that enlightenment yet. We've been too busy in life to achieve that enlightenment. But one day we will. Okay, one day we will. But for now, okay, I'm kind of a caffeine addict. I'm sorry. And not even an addict, but we do need like a cup of coffee every day. Okay, we do need it. It's not good, but it's just the case. It's just the case. Vince isn't like Rep. Vince posts regularly, even though he's moving. Rep couldn't. Okay, to be fair to Rep, it did. Yeah, he did at least post content. Okay, now there's another individual. There's another individual who was moving and spent like 4 or 5 months away. Okay, and so I think in comparison, any leave of absence below that is easily forgivable, in my opinion. Okay. Vince Dow says, "Are you go?" I mean, Daniel Chung says, "Vince Dow, are you going to Red Eagle stream? And black coffee is best. It is black coffee is the most manly thing to drink. It definitely tastes like crap, but it's also kind of based in a way. So that's true. I don't know. Is Rep streaming? If Rep's streaming right now, then we'll end this. I mean, we were supposed to end this one anyway. I'm just having. I like talking to you guys. Okay, I like reading the chats. It's fun. It's fun. Okay, it's creepy pasta. Yeah, let's see. I didn't know. I was like, well, what's the SPCs? Is this supposed some kind of So it's not to be suspicious. We weren't sure. I've never had Noah has never had coffee. Okay. I mean, you don't feel obligated to try it because if come I don't know even know how old you are, but come like college, work professionally, whatever. It's honestly better if you don't need to rely on it. It's not like the best thing for your health to have every day in some ways. It's very acidic and stuff like that. So if you can go life without drinking it, it's good. It's good. Okay. I will fully admit that is just not me. Okay. We do have to rely on the caffeine, but it's not ideal. Okay, it's not ideal. Try your best to get a good night's sleep. And I'm being a hypocrite because I don't do that. But if I can't save myself, at least I can hopefully try to save you. Okay, so try your best. First it's coffee, then it's crack. It's just not true. Okay, that is just slander. Okay. I will defend myself. It's not true. It's not the truth. All right. Okay. Anyways, guys, we're gonna wrap up the stream tonight. Right now, I have so much stuff to do. Oh my gosh! Look at how much I grind for you guys content. Also, we're building the. Actually, before we end the stream, let me show you this. So like I've been saying, this is like a temporary setup. Many components of this setup will be transferred over to like the permanent one, which is probably going to be on this wall instead of this wall. But we have bought some more decorations, right? I was actually, it's very funny. I was getting this. See this sign right here? I'll tell you a story that's very ironic. So we have the sign on the top which just says "Made in America, Land of the Free." Ironically, of course, and I think I actually was like, you know what, we're gonna roll with this because it's kind of dystopian in a very like educational way in a sense. The sign says "Made in America," and the sign is actually made in China. Like it says "Made in America," and it's not made in America. And I was like, at first, I was like, no, we're not going to do that. But then I was like, that's actually a very good representation of sort of the dystopian nature of modern America, right? It's like we say "Made in America," it's made abroad. We say we're the land of the free, we're not. And I was like, it actually works. It actually fits, but it also just looks cool. But ironically, you see the thing below that? This is actually made in America. Okay, this is like genuinely made in America. This Florida license plate with it right there. So it's very interesting, right? It's very interesting. The Florida sign is actually made in America. The Made in America sign is not made in America. That's very interesting. But we got that. As a token of home, I figured we had to get a slight token of back in California, back where we grew up. I also bought this mainly because it looked cool, the Route 66 sign. We had to do it, okay? I don't even know if it fits the rest of this stuff, but we had to do it. Okay, we have to have some token of back home. Okay, we have that. And I actually bought a Manifest Destiny poster that we'll probably add to it. It's pretty cool looking. And the reason for that has to do with actually, I'll explain that later. But yeah, that's what we're doing. Vince ironed the flag. Again, I feel like it works because it shows that the setup is very temporary. When we build the final setup, I will iron the flag. Okay, I'll iron the flag for you. Okay. All right. But we're working on temporary stuff right now. But if you have any if you have any suggestions for the type of decorations we should sort of set up here, let us know. Let us know, because I'm not fully done buying everything we need, but I mean I have most of the stuff, but I don't know. I don't know. And just try to fit the theme as best as possible. I think that's been the hardest part. It's not like, yeah, we can buy cool decorations, but it's very hard getting it all to match a theme, right? And we should also probably buy something that's like Christian and put it at the very top. I actually have not gotten one of those yet. So we should probably add that to the final setup, but we'll see. We'll see. Make an Asian boy autumn flag. No. Okay. No, we're not doing that. All right. With that being said, guys, we're going to wrap up the stream tonight. I'll probably be out with this week will probably be more videos than streams. I'm not honestly not sure. We'll see. We'll see. We have more content coming, folks. Okay. We'll see. I'm trying my best to not slow down at all. Okay. Even though we are very busy, which is just so true. We're trying our best. And we got to hit up Culver's this week. I have a lot to do. But yeah, thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. I'll see you guys later. Now to help some friends. Okay, be sure to either join Red Eagle's stream, which I think he's streaming right now, according to someone else in live chat, or go watch John Doyle's video. But yeah, see you guys later. Have a good night. Alpha moves only. Peace.